So today in the workshop, we're doing something a little bit different than we normally do. Typically I work with quite a bit larger trees, maybe medium-sized to extra large bonsai. But today we've got a couple of really nice Shohin trees in the garden that I'm wiring up for a client. Actually, it's a friend of mine, Shannon Sawyer from Knoxville, Tennessee. Shannon and I have been friends since I was probably in high school, actually. He was one of the first people to join up in the Knoxville Bonsai Society that I founded when I was 16 years old with my dad, actually. So Shannon's brought a couple of really nice Shohin to Eisei-en for me to kind of dial in and get back into proper shape. I have a feeling that you'll see these trees in future exhibitions coming up once everything reopens after this whole coronavirus situation is behind us. So I wanted to show you guys what we're working on today. These are some of the sweetest little shinpaku in the United States. Obviously, they were originally imported from Japan, but they've been in the States for a number of years under Shannon's care, and it's a privilege and an honor to get to work on this high quality material even here in the United States. This is gonna turn out pretty good. Yeah, I like it. It's got a nice rounded top on it now.
Beautiful. I love it.
And I cut this branch off. Okay. It was coming out of the front here and just kept the smaller of the two and kept that one as well.
That way it doesn't overshadow this.
Exactly. Yeah. Nice. So this one's a little bit weak down here as well. But I think now, hopefully it'll kind of come back a little bit.
I love this little tree. It's awesome.
And then the black pine, I think, looks way better in person than in the photo.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just a slight angle change that way and then tilted backwards just a little bit.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then that guy was the smallest change of all of them, but just a slight tilt, yeah, to the right there, or shift to the right.
Okay.
And beautiful. Then exactly the same plane that it's on.
Beautiful. I love them.
All right, so we've got some deep freezing winter temperatures coming up here shortly. On Christmas Eve, as a matter of fact, it's gonna get down to -8 Celsius. So we've got a lot of trees that are still out on the benches, even some trees that are out on the ground, but we're gonna move those into our cold frame right now just for safety's sake. So these would be trees like trident maples, for example, Japanese maples, maybe even some of our black pines that I think are gonna be somewhat susceptible to frost damage at temperatures that low. So you grab the small maple at the end. All right, so as you can see, the cold frame here is full of plants. Now, one cool thing about putting this many plants in the cold frame is that they'll actually transpire in here over the winter. So the heat inside of here is actually going to be much, much warmer than the exterior heat. The only problem is in the spring, when we start moving stuff out of here, if we move everything out too quickly and leave just a handful of trees in here, there's no more transpiration going on, so it becomes almost like a little mini desert inside of the cold frame. So we have to be careful in the spring as we start moving stuff out. But for the time being, this should keep the trees significantly warmer than the outside temperatures, particularly when we drop down to that -8 temperature coming up here shortly. Sorry, I got a phone call. Huh. Hello? Oh, my IKEA furniture is here. All right. So in addition to the trees that we have to put inside of the cold frame, everything else that's on the benches, when the temperatures are getting this low, we've got to put all of this stuff on the ground. The ground is going to keep the root systems of the trees a little bit warmer than they would be up on the benches. That's an obvious fact, I guess, but just for safety's sake, I want to make sure even our high elevation trees, just like this guy, we've got to put down on the ground. Now this right here is actually a Rocky Mountain juniper. It looks like it's dead, but this is the natural winter color on this tree. In the spring, this will come back, nice and green. But even in this particular state right here, even though it's in deep dormancy, just for added safety, we're going to throw it on the ground. We'll slide it that way, and then we'll bring it back in here. Yeah, back is better. Let's turn it. good? You tell me when you're ready. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, straight down. Okay. 2, 3. Okay, slow. Okay. You ready? Yeah. So a few of our trees here that are very expensive and that have also been worked on recently, just for safety's sake, we're gonna move these into the actual workshop just overnight when the temperatures are getting so low. This tree right here is one of those plants that I do wanna move inside. This is an Itoigawa Shinpaku that I styled recently. As a matter of fact, this is gonna be the very first featured tree in our online Bonsai U membership platform coming up on January 6th. So if you wanna see how I built this tree and the nuances of how to design pads on an old Shinpaku like this, definitely sign up. The link will be in the description down below. Okay, I think that'll work right here just for the night. Here. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. All right, so this is what the garden looks like every year in the winter once we put everything on the ground and set ourselves up for the coming winter season. So not very enjoyable. You know, when you come to visit, everything is down on the ground. It just looks very bare and boring here, but it's part of the process. It's something that we have to do every single year. So I wanted to share that process with you guys so you kind of understand exactly what we do here at the nursery.